Have you ever found yourself wondering if there's more to life? Maybe you've asked yourself if you could be doing better, feeling better, or achieving more than you are right now. Well, what if I told you that becoming the best version of yourself isn't as complicated as it seems? What if I told you that with just a few changes, small shifts in how you think and act, you could completely transform your life? The journey to becoming the best version of yourself is one that everyone can take, no matter where you're starting from. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. It's about making small, consistent changes that add up to big results over time. And today, I'm going to show you how to do that. You see, so many people wait for the right time to begin, waiting for some magic moment to make a change or take action. But the truth is, there's no better time than right now. The best version of yourself doesn't exist in some far-off future. It's within you, just waiting to be uncovered. All it takes is the decision to start. In the next few minutes, I'm going to share with you practical, real-world advice on how to start building that version of yourself today. We're going to talk about how to take control, how to stop holding yourself back, and how to build a life that you can truly be proud of. So stick around, because this is the kind of video that can change the way you think, the way you act, and the way you approach every single day moving forward. Are you ready to become the best version of yourself? Let's get started. Number one, start with possibility. The idea that your life, your future, and your potential are wide open. Think about that for a moment. Right now, you have a chance to shape your life into something extraordinary. And it doesn't matter who you are or where you're starting from. What matters is what you're willing to do from this moment forward. You see, one of the most incredible things about life is that change is always within reach. You don't need to have everything figured out to begin. You just need to believe that it's possible to create a better version of yourself. That's where it starts, with belief. Let me tell you something important. Most people underestimate what they're capable of. They get stuck in routines, habits, and ways of thinking that keep them in one place. They think, this is just how life is, or I'm not the kind of person who can achieve big things. But let me ask you, who decided that? Who told you that you couldn't rise above your current situation? Because I'm here to tell you you can. What if I told you that the limits you think are holding you back are often ones you've put there yourself? Yes, life throws challenges at all of us. But those challenges aren't meant to define us. They're meant to test us, to strengthen us, and to show us what we're capable of overcoming. Now let's talk about why possibility matters so much. When you believe in possibility, something shifts. Suddenly, you're not just going through the motions. You're looking ahead. You're dreaming bigger. You're starting to imagine what your life could look like if you really gave it your best effort. And here's the key. Possibility is more than just a feeling. It's a commitment. It's waking up every day and saying, I may not have all the answers, but I'm willing to try. I'm willing to work. I'm willing to learn. I want you to think about something you've always wanted to do. Maybe it's starting a business. Maybe it's improving your health. Maybe it's building better relationships with the people you care about. Whatever it is, hold that idea in your mind for a moment. Now ask yourself, what's stopping you? Is it fear? Is it doubt? Is it the belief that it's too late or that you're not good enough? Whatever it is, I want you to recognize one thing. Those obstacles aren't permanent. They're not immovable. They're challenges. Yes. But challenges can be overcome, and that's where the magic happens. When you decide to stop letting fear and doubt hold you back, you open yourself up to the possibility of something greater. You stop saying, I can't, and start asking, how can I? I know it's not always easy to think this way. Life can be tough. Sometimes it feels like the odds are stacked against us. But I'm here to remind you that you are stronger than you realize. You are more capable than you've been led to believe. And the only way to prove that to yourself is to start taking action. Think of possibility as a seed. When you plant that seed in your mind, it doesn't grow overnight. It takes time. It takes care. You have to nurture it, water it, and protect it from anything that might try to crush it. But if you stick with it, that seed will grow into something amazing. Here's the truth, my friends. The best version of yourself isn't created by chance. It's created by choice. By choosing to believe in your potential. By choosing to take steps toward your goals, even when it's hard. By choosing to see setbacks as lessons, not failures. So I challenge you today to think about possibility in a new way. Stop thinking about what could go wrong and start thinking about what could go right. Stop focusing on what you don't have and start focusing on what you can create. The first step to becoming the best version of yourself is realizing that it's possible. You don't need to have all the answers right now. You don't need to have everything figured out. You just need to take that first step, and then the next, and then the next. And I promise you, as you keep moving forward, something amazing will happen. You'll start to see the possibilities all around you. You'll start to feel more confident, more capable, and more alive. But it starts with you. It starts with a decision to stop holding yourself back, a decision to stop settling for less than you deserve, a decision to believe that you can create a life that's bigger and better than anything you've ever imagined. So my friends, let's start today. Let's embrace the possibility of change, growth, and transformation. Let's commit to becoming the best versions of ourselves. Because if you believe it's possible and you're willing to work for it, there's nothing you can't achieve. Number 2, define character. Who you are right now is just the beginning of who you can become. That's the beauty of life. Every day is a blank canvas, and the brush is in your hands. But here's the thing, before you can create the masterpiece of your life, you have to know who you are and, more importantly, who you want to be. You see, defining your character isn't just about asking, what do I want? It's about asking, who am I and what do I stand for? When the world throws challenges your way, and it will, your character is what carries you through. It's the foundation, the core of your being. Now let me share something with you that I believe deeply. Success, happiness, fulfillment. They don't come from the outside. They're born from within, from the kind of person you choose to be. And I mean choose because character isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. So let's start building it right now. Take a moment and think about the people you admire most in this world. It could be a parent, a mentor, a historical figure, or even a friend. Why do you admire them? It's not just what they've achieved, is it? It's how they live their lives. It's their honesty, their strength, their kindness, their determination. It's their character. Here's a truth that's as old as time. The world doesn't remember people for what they take. It remembers them for what they give. And what you give, your time, your energy, your kindness, comes from the depth of your character. Now I want to challenge you. Who do you want to be remembered as? If people were to describe you, what would you want them to say? Would you want them to say you were kind, strong, resilient, disciplined, or honest? Those qualities don't happen by accident. They happen by intention. Every choice you make is a vote for the kind of person you want to be. Think about that. Every time you choose to tell the truth, even when it's hard, you're building your integrity. Every time you choose to stick with something, even when it's tough, you're building your resilience. Every time you choose to give, even when you feel like you don't have enough, you're building your generosity. But here's the kicker. Defining your character doesn't mean being perfect. None of us are. We all make mistakes. We all have moments when we fall short of who we want to be. That's not the issue. The issue is, what do you do next? Do you let your mistakes define you, or do you use them to grow? Mistakes are powerful teachers. They show you where you can improve. They shine a light on the parts of your character that still need work. So don't run from them. Face them, learn from them, and let them shape you into someone stronger. I want to share a story with you. Years ago, I met a man who was down on his luck. He'd lost his job, his marriage was falling apart, and he felt like he'd hit rock bottom. When I asked him what he wanted to do next, he didn't talk about finding a new job or fixing his finances. He said, "Jim, I just want to feel proud of myself again." That hit me hard, because isn't that what we all want? To look in the mirror and feel proud of the person staring back at us. So I told him something I want to tell you today. Start with your character. He took that to heart. He started small, showing up on time, keeping his promises, being honest. Even when it hurt, little by little, he rebuilt his life. And you know what? It wasn't the job he eventually found or the new relationships he built that made him happy. It was knowing he'd become someone he could respect. And that's the key. Defining your character isn't just about impressing others. It's about earning your own respect. Because when you respect yourself, everything changes. You walk taller. You speak with more confidence. You attract opportunities because people see the strength in you. Now let's get real. Building character isn't always easy. It means making tough choices. It means doing the right thing, even when no one is watching. It means setting boundaries, holding yourself accountable, and sometimes standing alone. But let me tell you, it's worth it. Every time you choose character over convenience, you're laying a brick in the foundation of your best self. So, where do you start? Start by getting clear on your values. What matters most to you? Is it honesty, compassion, hard work, loyalty? Write them down, make them your guide, and then live by them. Not just when it's easy, but when it's hard. When you're tempted to cut corners, when you're tired, when you feel like giving up. Those are the moments that define you. Those are the moments that shape your character. Let me tell you something else. Your character isn't just about you. It's about the impact you have on others. When you choose to be kind, you make someone's day a little brighter. When you choose to be honest, you build trust. When you choose to be disciplined, you inspire others to do the same. Your character is your legacy. Long after you're gone, people will remember how you made them feel. They'll remember the example you set. So ask yourself, what kind of legacy do I want to leave? Here's the beautiful thing. It's never too late to start. Whether you're 18 or 80, you can decide right now to define your character. You can decide to be the kind of person who lifts others up, who keeps their word, who lives with purpose and passion. So let me ask you, what are you waiting for? The best version of yourself is waiting. And it starts with one simple decision, to be the kind of person you're proud of. You've got what it takes. I believe in you. Now it's time for you to believe in yourself. Start today and watch what happens. Number 3, recognize personal responsibility. Let me tell you something that can change the way you see your life. Everything you want, everything you dream of starts with one powerful truth. You are responsible for your life. No one else, not your parents, not your boss, not your friends. That's not a burden, that's freedom. Because when you take full responsibility for your life, you gain the power to shape it into something extraordinary. You see, a lot of people spend their time looking for someone or something to blame when things go wrong. It's the economy, they say. It's my upbringing. Or it's because I didn't get a fair shot. And while those things might be real challenges, they're not the end of the story. Challenges are just that. Challenges, they're not roadblocks unless you let them be. When you take responsibility, you stop being a victim of your circumstances, and you start becoming the creator of your destiny. That's when life gets exciting, because now you're in the driver's seat. You decide where to go, how fast to get there, and what path to take. But let me be clear, responsibility isn't just about big sweeping decisions. It's about the little things you do every single day. Think about this, your habits, your thoughts, your actions. They all add up to the life you're living right now. If you don't like where you are, the first step is to stop blaming and start owning. Look at your choices, your priorities, and your mindset. Ask yourself, what am I doing or not doing that's keeping me stuck? That's not an easy question to ask, but it's a necessary one. I'll share a story with you. Years ago, I met a young man who told me his life was a mess. He said he was broke, his relationships were falling apart, and he had no direction. When I asked him what he was doing to change things, he shrugged and said, "There's nothing I can do. It's just the way things are." And I looked at him and said, "No, it's not the way things are. It's the way you've let them become." At first, he was defensive. He gave me all the excuses. He didn't have the right education. He didn't have enough time. People didn't support him. But eventually he realized that none of those excuses mattered as much as what he was willing to do about them. That realization changed everything for him. He started small, taking responsibility for just one area of his life, his finances. He learned how to manage his money, started saving, and worked his way out of debt. From there, he tackled his health, his career, and his relationships. Step by step, he built a life he was proud of. That's what I want for you. I want you to understand that no matter where you are right now, no matter how hard things might seem, you have the power to change your life. But it starts with accepting responsibility. And let me tell you, that's not a one-time decision. It's a daily practice. Every day you have to choose to take ownership of your life. So how do you do that? First, be honest with yourself. Take a good hard look at your life and ask what's working, what's not. What am I doing that's helping me? And what am I doing that's holding me back? That kind of honesty can be uncomfortable, but it's also liberating. Because once you see things clearly, you can start making changes. Second, stop waiting for someone else to fix things for you. No one is coming to save you. That's not meant to be harsh. It's meant to empower you. You are your best hope, and you're capable of more than you know. When you stop waiting for permission, for approval, or for the perfect time, you open the door to incredible possibilities. Third, take action. Even small steps can make a big difference over time. If your health isn't where you want it to be, start by taking a walk every day. If your career isn't fulfilling, invest an hour a day in learning a new skill. If your relationships are struggling, make the effort to communicate and connect. The key is to do something. Don't just think about it, talk about it, or plan for it. Do it. Let me pause for a moment to say this. Taking responsibility doesn't mean you have to do everything on your own. It's okay to ask for help, to seek guidance, and to lean on others when you need to. But the difference is, you're not relying on others to solve your problems for you. You're taking the lead, and you're enlisting support along the way. Now let's talk about what happens when you make responsibility a habit. First, you'll notice a shift in how you feel about yourself. There's a kind of confidence that comes from knowing you're in charge of your life. It's not about arrogance, it's about empowerment. You'll start to trust yourself more because you'll see that you're capable of handling whatever comes your way. Second, you'll find that opportunities start to appear. When you take responsibility, you become more proactive, more focused, and more open to possibilities. People notice that. They see your commitment, your drive, and your determination, and they want to be part of it. Doors that were once closed start to open. Finally, you'll discover a sense of freedom that's hard to describe. When you stop blaming others or waiting for circumstances to change, you realize that you're free to create the life you want, and that freedom is priceless. So here's my challenge to you. Starting today, take responsibility for one area of your life. Just one. Maybe it's your health, your finances, your relationships, or your personal growth. Whatever it is, decide that you're going to own it. Not tomorrow, not next week, but right now. And then take one small step in the right direction. Remember, you don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to start. Because once you start, momentum will carry you forward. And before you know it, you'll be looking back, amazed at how far you've come. Let me leave you with this thought. Your life is your masterpiece. No one else can paint it for you. So pick up the brush, choose your colors, and start creating. You have the power, you have the potential, and you have everything you need to become the best version of yourself. The only question is, are you ready to take responsibility and make it happen? I know you are. Now go out there and prove it to yourself. Number 3, focus on small daily actions. What would your life look like if fear and self-doubt weren't holding you back? Imagine waking up every day feeling unstoppable, confident, and ready to take on the world. It sounds incredible, doesn't it? But here's the truth. Most people don't live that way. Most people let fear and self-doubt keep them stuck, and they don't even realize it's happening. But today we're going to change that. Today we're going to talk about how to overcome fear and self-doubt so you can finally step into the life you've always wanted. First, let's get real about fear. Fear isn't the enemy. Fear is just a signal. It's your mind trying to protect you from danger. And that's a good thing when the danger is real. But here's the catch. Most of the fear we feel isn't about real, immediate threats. It's about imagined ones. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of stepping out of your comfort zone. Those fears aren't protecting you. They're limiting you. Now, self-doubt is fear's best friend. It whispers in your ear. You're not good enough. You're not smart enough. You're not ready. And if you listen to it, it can paralyze you. It can stop you from taking risks, from pursuing your goals, and from becoming the person you're meant to be. But let me tell you something. Self-doubt is a liar. It has no idea what you're capable of. You have so much more strength, talent, and resilience than you give yourself credit for. So how do we overcome fear and self-doubt? The first step is to recognize them for what they are. Thoughts, not truths. Just because you're afraid of something doesn't mean it's actually dangerous. And just because you doubt yourself doesn't mean you're incapable. When you separate your thoughts from reality, you take away their power. The second step is to challenge those thoughts. When fear says, "What if you fail?" respond with, "What if I succeed?" When self-doubt says, "You're not ready," remind yourself that no one ever feels 100% ready. Success isn't about waiting until you're ready. It's about starting before you are. Every time you challenge those thoughts, you weaken them. And every time you take action in spite of them, you prove to yourself that you're stronger than your fears. Let me share a story with you. Years ago, I knew a woman who wanted to start her own business. but she was terrified. She kept saying, what if I fail? What if I lose money? What if people think I'm crazy? And I asked her, what if you don't? What if you stay where you are, doing something you don't love, and you never find out what you're capable of? That question hit her hard. She realized that staying stuck was a bigger risk than trying and failing. So she took the leap. She started her business. And yes, she made mistakes along the way. But she also learned, grew, and eventually succeeded. And she told me later, the scariest part wasn't starting, it was staying stuck. That's the truth about fear and self-doubt. They're not there to stop you. They're there to test you, to see how much you want something, to see if you're willing to push through the discomfort to get to the other side. And the other side is always worth it. That's where growth happens. That's where confidence is built. That's where you find out just how strong you really are. But here's the thing, overcoming fear and self-doubt isn't a one-time thing. It's a daily practice. Every day you'll face choices that scare you. Every day you'll have moments of doubt. And every day you'll have the opportunity to choose courage over fear, faith over doubt. It's not about being fearless. It's about being brave. It's about feeling the fear and doing it anyway. One of the most powerful ways to overcome fear and self-doubt is to take small, consistent steps toward your goals. You don't have to conquer your biggest fears overnight. Start small. Take one step, then another, then another. Each step builds momentum. Each step builds confidence. And before you know it, you'll look back and realize how far you've come. Another important thing to remember is that failure isn't the end of the world. Failure is a teacher. It's how we learn, grow, and improve. Every successful person you admire has failed. They've faced rejection, setbacks, and criticism. But they didn't let those things stop them. They used them as fuel to keep going. And you can do the same. When you fail, don't see it as proof that you're not good enough. See it as proof that you're trying, that you're learning, and that you're growing. And let's talk about the fear of judgment, because that's a big one for a lot of people. We worry so much about what others will think of us. But the truth is, most people are too busy worrying about their own lives to judge yours. And even if they do, their opinions don't define you. What matters is what you think of yourself. Are you proud of the choices you're making? Are you living in alignment with your values and goals? If the answer is yes, then that's all that matters. Surrounding yourself with supportive, encouraging people is another key to overcoming fear and self-doubt. When you're surrounded by negativity, it's easy to start doubting yourself. But when you're surrounded by positivity, it's easier to believe in yourself. Seek out people who lift you up, who believe in your potential, and who inspire you to be your best. And finally, don't forget to celebrate your progress. Every time you face a fear, every time you push through self-doubt, every time you take a step towards your goals, that's a victory. Celebrate it, acknowledge it, and let it fuel your confidence for the next challenge. So here's my challenge to you. The next time fear or self-doubt tries to stop you, take a deep breath, remind yourself of your strength, and take action anyway. It doesn't have to be a big action. Just take one step, because every step you take moves you closer to the life you want. And with every step, you'll prove to yourself that you are stronger than your fears, braver than your doubts, and capable of more than you ever imagined. You have everything you need to overcome fear and self-doubt. The only question is, are you willing to take the first step? I know you are. So let's do it. Let's face those fears, silence that self-doubt, and create a life you're proud of, because you deserve nothing less. Now go out there and show the world and yourself what you're made of. Number 4, overcome fear and self-doubt. What would your life look like if fear and self-doubt weren't holding you back? Imagine waking up every day feeling unstoppable, confident, and ready to take on the world. It sounds incredible, doesn't it? But here's the truth. Most people don't live that way. Most people let fear and self-doubt keep them stuck, and they don't even realize it's happening. But today, we're going to change that. Today, we're going to talk about how to overcome fear and self-doubt so you can finally step into the life you've always wanted. First, let's get real about fear. Fear isn't the enemy. Fear is just a signal. It's your mind trying to protect you from danger. And that's a good thing when the danger is real. But here's the catch. Most of the fear we feel isn't about real, immediate threats. It's about imagined ones. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, Fear of stepping out of your comfort zone. Those fears aren't protecting you. They're limiting you. Now, self-doubt is fear's best friend. It whispers in your ear, "You're not good enough. You're not smart enough. You're not ready." And if you listen to it, it can paralyze you. It can stop you from taking risks, from pursuing your goals, and from becoming the person you're meant to be. But let me tell you something. Self-doubt is a liar. It has no idea what you're capable of. You have so much more strength, talent, and resilience than you give yourself credit for. So how do we overcome fear and self-doubt? The first step is to recognize them for what they are. Thoughts, not truths. Just because you're afraid of something doesn't mean it's actually dangerous. And just because you doubt yourself doesn't mean you're incapable. When you separate your thoughts from reality, you take away their power. The second step is to challenge those thoughts. When fear says, "What if you fail?" respond with, "What if I succeed?" When self-doubt says, "You're not ready," remind yourself that no one ever feels 100% ready. Success isn't about waiting until you're ready. It's about starting before you are. Every time you challenge those thoughts, you weaken them. And every time you take action, in spite of them, you prove to yourself that you're stronger than your fears. Let me share a story with you. Years ago, I knew a woman who wanted to start her own business, but she was terrified. She kept saying, "What if I fail? What if I lose money? What if people think I'm crazy?" And I asked her, "What if you don't? What if you stay where you are, doing something you don't love, and you never find out what you're capable of?" That question hit her hard. She realized that staying stuck was a bigger risk than trying and failing. So she took the leap. She started her business. And yes, she made mistakes along the way. But she also learned, grew, and eventually succeeded. And she told me later, the scariest part wasn't starting. It was staying stuck. That's the truth about fear and self-doubt. They're not there to stop you. They're there to test you, to see how much you want something, to see if you're willing to push through the discomfort to get to the other side. And the other side is always worth it. That's where growth happens. That's where confidence is built. That's where you find out just how strong you really are. But here's the thing. Overcoming fear and self-doubt isn't a one-time thing. It's a daily practice. Every day you'll face choices that scare you. Every day you'll have moments of doubt. And every day you'll have the opportunity to choose courage over fear, faith over doubt. It's not about being fearless. It's about being brave. It's about feeling the fear and doing it anyway. One of the most powerful ways to overcome fear and self-doubt is to take small, consistent steps toward your goals. You don't have to conquer your biggest fears overnight. Start small. Take one step, then another, then another. Each step builds momentum. Each step builds confidence. And before you know it, you'll look back and realize how far you've come. Another important thing to remember is that failure isn't the end of the world. Failure is a teacher. It's how we learn, grow, and improve. Every successful person you admire has failed. They faced rejection, setbacks, and criticism. But they didn't let those things stop them. They used them as fuel to keep going, and you can do the same. When you fail, don't see it as proof that you're not good enough. See it as proof that you're trying, that you're learning, and that you're growing. And let's talk about the fear of judgment, because that's a big one for a lot of people. We worry so much about what others will think of us. But the truth is, most people are too busy worrying about their own lives to judge yours. And even if they do, their opinions don't define you. What matters is what you think of yourself. Are you proud of the choices you're making? Are you living in alignment with your values and goals? If the answer is yes, then that's all that matters. Surrounding yourself with supportive, encouraging people is another key to overcoming fear and self-doubt. When you're surrounded by negativity, it's easy to start doubting yourself. But when you're surrounded by positivity, it's easier to believe in yourself. Seek out people who lift you up, who believe in your potential, and who inspire you to be your best. And finally, don't forget to celebrate your progress. Every time you face a fear, every time you push through self-doubt, every time you take a step toward your goals, that's a victory. Celebrate it, acknowledge it, and let it fuel your confidence for the next challenge. So here's my challenge to you. The next time fear or self-doubt tries to stop you, take a deep breath, remind yourself of your strength, and take action anyway. It doesn't have to be a big action. Just take one step. Because every step you take moves you closer to the life you want. And with every step, you'll prove to yourself that you are stronger than your fears, braver than your doubts, and capable of more than you ever imagined. You have everything you need to overcome fear and self-doubt. The only question is, are you willing to take the first step? I know you are. So let's do it. Let's face those fears, silence that self-doubt, and create a life you're proud of, because you deserve nothing less. Now go out there and show the world and yourself what you're made of. Number 5, develop inner strength. I want you to take a moment and think about something that's been holding you back. Maybe it's a fear, a failure, or just a belief that you're not enough. We all have something that we struggle with, something that tries to make us believe we're not capable of achieving what we really want in life. But what if I told you that the greatest power you have lies inside you? What if I told you that the strength you need to overcome anything, to push through all the barriers, is already there, waiting for you to tap into it? Today we're going to talk about developing that inner strength, that unshakable power that will help you face anything life throws your way. You see, life isn't about avoiding challenges. It's not about hoping that the tough times will just magically disappear. Life is about facing those challenges head on, with the kind of strength that can't be broken, no matter what. It's about looking at the obstacles in your path and saying, I'm not afraid of you. You can't stop me. I am stronger than you think. But how do you get there? How do you build that kind of inner strength? Well, it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't just magically appear when you need it. Inner strength is developed over time. It's the result of pushing through the hard times, of facing adversity, and refusing to let it defeat you. It's about having the courage to keep going when everything inside of you wants to quit. Let me tell you something important. You are stronger than you realize. Most people don't give themselves enough credit. They look at the challenges in front of them and they feel small. They feel helpless. But I'm here to remind you that you've already been through hard things. You've already faced difficulties in your life, and you've made it through. The fact that you're still here means you have an incredible amount of strength within you. It's in your bones. It's in your spirit. You've already proven that you can handle more than you think. The problem is, we often don't give ourselves the chance to see our own strength. We let fear, doubt, and uncertainty cloud our judgment. We look at a big challenge and think, I can't do that. It's too much for me. But here's the thing. Every time you face a challenge, you have a choice. You can choose to back down, to let that fear control you, or you can choose to stand up, to dig deep, and to find that strength within you. The choice is yours, and I promise you, every time you choose to stand up, your strength grows. Every time you keep going, even when it's hard, you build the muscle of resilience. But how do you actually start building that strength? The first thing you need to do is embrace discomfort. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but it's the truth. Strength isn't built in the easy times. Strength is built when you step outside your comfort zone, when you push yourself past what you thought was possible, when you face something difficult and you don't back down. That's when you grow. That's when your strength becomes real. Think about it like physical exercise. If you want to build muscle, you don't just sit on the couch and wish for bigger muscles. You have to lift weights. You have to push yourself. You have to feel that burn. And every time you do, your muscles grow stronger. It's the same with inner strength. You have to put yourself in situations that challenge you, situations that make you uncomfortable. You have to push through the doubts, the fears, and the resistance. And with every step, your inner strength grows stronger. Another key to developing inner strength is learning how to manage your emotions. It's so easy to get caught up in the highs and lows of life, to let your emotions dictate your actions. But the truly strong people aren't controlled by their emotions. They acknowledge them, but they don't let them steer the ship. Emotions are temporary. Strength is enduring. When you're able to pause, breathe, and make decisions from a place of calm, rather than reacting from a place of fear or anger, that's when your inner strength shines through. It's also important to remember that building strength requires patience. This isn't a quick fix. Inner strength isn't something you can develop in a weekend or by reading a few self-help books. It's a journey. It takes time. And that's okay. The key is to keep showing up, day after day, even when progress feels slow, even when you don't feel like you're getting anywhere. As long as you keep pushing, you're moving forward. Strength is built in the small, consistent actions. It's in the day-to-day choices that you make to keep going, even when things are tough. There will be times, no doubt about it, when you feel like you can't go on. when the challenges seem too big and you're just exhausted. But let me tell you something. Those are the moments that matter the most. Those are the moments when you get to prove to yourself just how strong you really are. It's in those moments of struggle that your character is forged. It's in those moments that you find out what you're truly capable of. And when you look back on your life, when you look back at all the times you've overcome challenges, you'll realize that the strength you've gained has been the most important thing you've developed. Strength doesn't just help you handle the hard times. It helps you enjoy the good times. It helps you stand tall, no matter what's going on around you. It gives you the courage to chase your dreams, to go after what you want, and to believe in yourself, even when it feels like the world is telling you that you can't. One of the most powerful things you can do to develop inner strength is to practice self-care. Take care of your body, your mind, and your spirit. Eat well, sleep well, and move your body. Because when you're physically healthy, your mind works better. When your mind is clear, your decisions are sharper. When you feel good about yourself, you're more likely to take action and face challenges with confidence. Your strength is intertwined with your well-being. The stronger you are physically, the more capable you'll feel emotionally and mentally. But inner strength isn't just about overcoming personal challenges. It's also about being there for others. True strength is shown in how you support the people around you. It's about showing up for your friends and family, being a source of encouragement and love, especially when they need it most. It's in lifting others up, even when you're struggling yourself. Because when you support others, you're also strengthening your own resolve. Helping others helps you see the good in yourself. It reminds you of the power of kindness, compassion, and perseverance. Remember this. You decide whether you will rise above your fears and doubts, or whether you will let them break you. You decide whether you will keep going, no matter how tough it gets, or whether you will give up. And I know, deep down, you have what it takes to choose strength. So choose it every day. Because when you do, you'll be amazed at what you're capable of. Your strength is already there. You've had it all along. Now it's time to embrace it, to build it, and to let it guide you toward the life you truly deserve. So let's get started. Let's tap into that power within you and create something extraordinary, because you have it in you. I promise you, you do. Number 6, learn from life's experiences. Have you ever felt like life's challenges are just too much to handle? Like you've been hit with so many setbacks, so many obstacles, that you're wondering if it's all even worth it. Maybe you've asked yourself, why do bad things keep happening to me? Or why can't I just get ahead? We all go through tough times, and we all face situations that seem unfair or impossible. But let me tell you something. Those tough times, those struggles, they're not just random events. They're opportunities. They're life's way of teaching you lessons that you wouldn't learn any other way. And it's not about what happens to you. It's about how you respond to it that shapes who you become. Life's experiences, both good and bad, have the power to shape you. But you have to be willing to learn from them. If you let the difficult moments pass by, without reflection, without taking the lessons they offer, you miss out on something incredibly valuable. You miss out on growth. I want to encourage you today to look at your life from a different perspective. Instead of seeing challenges as something to avoid or resent, I want you to start seeing them as powerful teachers. Teachers that help you grow into the best version of yourself. When we're going through hard times, it's easy to feel like the world is against us. But what if the world is actually on your side? What if every hardship you face, every struggle, is just a stepping stone to something greater? Think about the most successful people you know. Think about the people who inspire you. What do they have in common? One thing they all share is a mindset that allows them to see their struggles as opportunities to learn. They don't run from their challenges. They face them head on and extract the lessons they need to grow stronger. And that's what I want for you too. You see, life is constantly teaching us. Every experience, whether it's a success or a failure, can be a lesson if we're open to learning from it. That doesn't mean it's always going to be easy. Sometimes the lessons come in the form of pain or disappointment, and it can be hard to see the silver lining when you're in the midst of a tough situation. But that's when you need to dig deep and ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this experience help me become better? One of the most powerful ways to grow is by looking back at your past experiences, both the good and the bad, and asking yourself, what did I learn? What could I have done differently? What strengths did I discover in myself that I didn't know I had? And more importantly, what can I do now to apply these lessons in my life today? Every experience you've had up until this moment has contributed to the person you are right now. It shaped you in ways you might not even realize. And if you can learn to recognize those lessons, you'll be amazed at how much you can grow and how much stronger you can become. Take a moment and think about the hardest thing you've ever gone through. Now, I'm not saying that those hard times weren't painful or that they didn't leave a mark. They probably did. But I want you to ask yourself, what did I learn from that experience? How did it change me? Maybe it taught you resilience. Maybe it taught you patience or perseverance. Maybe it taught you how to trust yourself more. Whatever it was, there's always something valuable to be learned. And if you can start seeing challenges as opportunities to learn and grow, they won't seem as intimidating anymore. They'll just become part of the process of becoming the best version of yourself. But it's not just about looking back. It's also about being present. Right now, in this moment, you have the opportunity to learn from everything that's happening around you. The people you meet, the situations you encounter, the successes and failures, they're all teaching you something. Every experience you have is an opportunity to refine yourself, to become better, to become wiser. The key is to pay attention. Most of the time, we're so busy trying to avoid discomfort or wishing for things to be different that we miss the lessons right in front of us. But if you slow down and truly listen to what life is trying to teach you, you'll discover insights that will guide you toward your greatest potential. Life also teaches us through other people. One of the most important things you can do is learn from those around you, whether they're mentors, friends, family, or even strangers. Everyone you meet has something to teach you. They may not even realize it, but their actions, words, and experiences can offer valuable lessons. The key is to be open to learning from others, to be humble enough to acknowledge that you don't know it all. Nobody does. And the more willing you are to learn from others, the more quickly you'll grow. I've always believed that the best way to learn is by observing the people around you, especially those who are where you want to be. Ask them about their struggles, their failures, and the lessons they've learned along the way. You'll be surprised at how much wisdom is available to you if you're just willing to listen. But learning from life isn't just about taking in information. It's also about applying what you've learned. Knowledge without action is useless. You can read all the books in the world, listen to all the motivational speeches, and attend all the seminars. But if you don't put that knowledge into practice, it won't make a difference in your life. The real growth happens when you take the lessons you've learned and begin to use them to improve your circumstances, to change your behavior, and to become a better version of yourself. Let's talk about failure for a moment. This is something that scares a lot of people. The fear of failure can paralyze us. But let me tell you, failure is not the end of the road. It's part of the journey. Every successful person has failed at some point. What sets them apart is how they respond to failure. Do they quit, or do they use it as an opportunity to learn and grow? The most successful people are the ones who fail the most because they never stop learning from their mistakes. And every time they fail, they get closer to success. You need to adopt the same mindset. When you fail, don't beat yourself up. Instead, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I do better next time? When you do that, you turn failure into one of your most powerful teachers. Sometimes life's lessons are tough. Sometimes they come in the form of heartbreak, disappointment, or loss. But even in those moments, there's something valuable to be learned. Often it's the hardest lessons that teach us the most. It's in those moments of pain that we discover our true strength, our resilience, and our capacity to keep going. The key is to not let those tough times define you, but to use them as fuel for growth. I want you to remember this. Every experience you go through is an opportunity for growth. The question is, will you choose to learn from it? Will you choose to use your experiences, both the good and the bad, to become the best version of yourself? The choice is yours. And I want you to know that no matter where you're starting from, no matter how difficult your circumstances may seem, you have the power to turn every experience into a lesson that will move you closer to your goals. So embrace life's lessons, learn from them, and keep growing. Because every day is an opportunity to get better, to be stronger, and to become the person you were always meant to be. Number 7, building discipline. I want you to take a moment and imagine what it would feel like if you could wake up every single day knowing that you're doing what you said you would do, that you're following through, and that you're building habits that set you up for success. Can you feel that sense of pride, the satisfaction of knowing that you're making progress toward your goals? Now let me ask you this. How many times have you promised yourself something only to let that promise slip away? How often have you told yourself that you'd work harder, or wake up earlier, or stick to your plan only to fall short? It happens to all of us, right? But let me tell you this, if you can master the art of discipline, if you can develop the habit of following through on your commitments, then you will unlock your full potential. You'll become the best version of yourself. Discipline is one of the most powerful tools you can develop. It's the difference between where you are now and where you want to be. If you want to be successful in any area of your life, whether it's your health, career, relationships, or personal growth, you need discipline. It's not always glamorous, it's not always fun, and it doesn't always come easily. But I can tell you right now, if you make discipline a priority in your life, you will begin to see results that you never thought possible. Here's the thing. Discipline isn't about being perfect. It's not about being the person who never makes mistakes or never falters. It's about making the decision to get back on track when you do fall off. It's about showing up every single day. Even when you don't feel like it, you're not going to feel motivated every single day. And that's okay. What matters is that you commit to the process and that you stick to it, even when it's tough. The reason discipline is so important is because it's the foundation for everything you want to achieve. Think about the person you admire most, whether it's a successful entrepreneur, a top athlete, or someone in your personal life. What do they have in common? They have a high level of discipline. They don't rely on motivation alone because they know motivation is fleeting. Instead, they rely on their discipline to get them through the tough times, to keep them consistent, and to keep them focused on their goals. Now, I know you might be thinking, Jim, I don't have the discipline that some of these successful people have. I struggle to stay consistent. And I get it. Building discipline is not easy, but I promise you it's something that can be learned. It's like a muscle. The more you work on it, the stronger it gets. And the sooner you start building discipline in your life, the more you'll start seeing the results. So where do you start? How do you build this muscle of discipline? It starts with small, consistent actions. If you want to build discipline, you have to commit to doing the things you know you should do, even when you don't feel like doing them. Let me ask you, how often do you let your emotions decide whether or not you take action? How often do you skip your workout, or put off a project, or ignore a task because you're not feeling it? This is where discipline comes in. It's not about waiting for the right feeling or the right moment. It's about doing it because you said you would, regardless of how you feel in that moment. One of the most important things I've learned in my own journey is that small actions, repeated over time, lead to big results. You don't need to make huge dramatic changes all at once. In fact, if you try to change everything at once, you'll burn out quickly. Instead, focus on the small daily actions that will compound over time. If you want to build discipline, commit to doing one thing every day, no matter how small, that moves you closer to your goal. This could be something as simple as writing 500 words a day toward a book, reading for 20 minutes a day, or setting aside 30 minutes to exercise. It's these small, consistent actions that will build your discipline and create momentum. Another key to building discipline is creating routines and systems that support your goals. It's much easier to stay disciplined when you have a plan in place. When you don't have a plan, it's easy to get distracted or to put things off. But when you create a daily routine that includes the actions you need to take to reach your goals, it becomes a lot easier to stick to them. Your routine should support the person you want to become. If you want to be healthier, make exercise a non-negotiable part of your day. If you want to improve your skills, set aside time each day to practice. Your routine becomes the structure that supports your success. I also want you to understand that building discipline isn't about being rigid or inflexible. It's about being consistent, but it's also about being adaptable. Life doesn't always go according to plan. Sometimes things come up, and you might have to adjust. But the key is to stay focused on your long-term goal, and to not let temporary setbacks derail your progress. The most disciplined people are the ones who stay committed, even when things don't go as planned. They adapt, they adjust, but they never lose sight of the bigger picture. Discipline is also about accountability. If you want to stay disciplined, you need to hold yourself accountable for your actions. But here's the thing, holding yourself accountable doesn't mean being hard on yourself or beating yourself up when you slip up. It means acknowledging when you fall short and making the commitment to get back on track. It means taking responsibility for your choices and not blaming external circumstances or other people for your lack of progress. If you're serious about becoming the best version of yourself, then you have to be accountable for your actions and your results. No excuses. One thing that will help you develop discipline is understanding the power of delayed gratification. We live in a world of instant gratification. We want things now, and we want them easily. But true success doesn't come from instant gratification. It comes from being willing to delay your immediate desires for the sake of a bigger, more meaningful goal. When you choose discipline over instant gratification, you're making a powerful decision that will pay off in the long run. Whether it's choosing to skip a night out to work on your side hustle, or deciding to get up early to exercise instead of hitting the snooze button, these small choices add up over time. Here's the truth. Discipline isn't something you either have or don't have. It's a skill that you can develop. And the more you practice it, the better you'll get at it. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. And the more consistent you are, the more discipline will become second nature to you. The more you practice the small, everyday actions that support your goals, the more they'll become ingrained in your routine, and the easier it will be to follow through. At the end of the day, discipline is what separates those who reach their goals from those who don't. It's what allows you to push through the tough times, to stay focused on your long-term vision, and to keep showing up even when it's hard. And it's what will ultimately help you become the best version of yourself. So take a deep breath and commit to building discipline in your life today. Start with small, consistent actions. Create a routine that supports your goals. Hold yourself accountable. And remember, it's not about perfection. It's about consistency. The more disciplined you become, the more you'll achieve, and the closer you'll get to becoming the person you've always dreamed of. Your future is in your hands, and discipline is the key to unlocking it. Number 8, surrounding yourself with positivity. Imagine waking up every day feeling like you're surrounded by people who lift you up, who encourage you to keep going, and who want to see you succeed. Imagine having a group of people who inspire you, who challenge you, and who hold you accountable when you're not living up to your potential. Now think about this. How often do you feel drained, uninspired, or unmotivated? How often do the people around you contribute to those feelings, whether consciously or unconsciously? The people we surround ourselves with have a profound impact on our lives, more than we may even realize. And that's why it's so crucial to be intentional about who we choose to spend our time with. You see, you can't expect to live a positive, productive life if you're constantly surrounded by negativity, doubt, or people who don't believe in you. The environment you create for yourself, the people you spend your time with, will either help you grow or hold you back. And if you want to become the best version of yourself, you need to surround yourself with people who are positive, supportive, and inspiring. Think about the energy you feel when you're around certain people. There are some people who make you feel like you can conquer the world, and then there are others who make you feel like you can't even get out of bed in the morning. Why is that? It's because energy is contagious. The people you spend the most time with are influencing your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions, whether you realize it or not. You've probably heard the saying, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And it's true. If you're surrounded by people who are constantly complaining, who are negative about their own lives, or who don't have any ambitions, that negativity will start to seep into your own mindset. On the other hand, when you surround yourself with people who are positive, driven, and who are pursuing their goals, that energy will rub off on you. You'll begin to feel more motivated, more inspired, and more focused on your own growth. This doesn't mean you need to completely cut out everyone who might not be on the same wavelength as you, but it does mean you need to be intentional about who you allow to influence you. You need to be selective about the people you spend your time with, because their influence is shaping who you are and who you're becoming. I know it's not always easy. Sometimes we're surrounded by people who we love and care about, but who may not be on the same path of growth that we are. It's tough, especially if those people are family members or close friends. But let me tell you something, it's okay to set boundaries. It's okay to protect your energy. You don't have to cut people out of your life, but you do have to make sure that you're not allowing their negativity or limiting beliefs to influence you in a way that holds you back from your goals. It's about finding a balance between being there for the people you care about and also taking care of yourself and your own growth. One of the most powerful things you can do for yourself is to actively seek out people who will help you grow. Find people who challenge you, who push you to be better, who hold you accountable, and who genuinely want to see you succeed. Surround yourself with people who are on the same mission as you, who are working toward their own goals, and who understand the importance of personal development. These are the people who will help you stay focused, who will encourage you when you're feeling down, and who will inspire you to keep going when you want to quit. But it's not just about the people you surround yourself with. It's also about what you allow into your mind. The information you consume, the content you watch, and the conversations you engage in all play a role in shaping your mindset. If you're constantly consuming negative news, listening to people complain, or engaging in conversations that drain you, that's going to have an impact on your energy and your outlook on life. That's why it's so important to be intentional about the content you consume and the conversations you engage in. If you want to become the best version of yourself, you need to make sure you're surrounding yourself with positivity and inspiration. This means filling your mind with content that motivates you, that challenges you, and that pushes you to be better. Whether it's listening to podcasts that inspire you, reading books that challenge your thinking, or watching videos that push you to take action, you need to make sure that the information you're feeding your mind is helping you grow. The more you surround yourself with positivity, the more it will shape your mindset, and the more motivated and focused you will become. Another thing to consider is the power of mentorship. Having a mentor or role model in your life who has already achieved what you're striving for can make a world of difference. A mentor is someone who can guide you, provide you with wisdom and advice, and help you avoid common mistakes. They can help you see your blind spots, push you to take action, and hold you accountable for your progress. If you're serious about becoming the best version of yourself, find someone who has walked the path before you and who is willing to help you navigate your own journey. A mentor can be an invaluable resource, providing you with insight and guidance that can save you time, energy, and frustration. But remember, it's not just about finding positive people to be around. It's also about being a positive influence yourself. The more you surround yourself with positivity, the more it's going to reflect in your own actions and in the way you interact with others. Be the person who lifts others up, who encourages them to keep going, who challenges them to be better. The energy you put out into the world will come back to you, and the more positive energy you put into the world, the more it will come back to you in ways you never expected. When you surround yourself with positivity, you're creating an environment that nurtures your growth. You're building a support system that will help you stay focused on your goals, that will motivate you when you're feeling down, and that will push you to keep going when things get tough. And ultimately, it's this environment that will help you become the best version of yourself. The people you surround yourself with will shape the way you think, the way you act, and the way you see the world. So if you want to achieve great things, if you want to reach your full potential, you need to be intentional about the people and the energy you allow into your life. You don't have to do this alone. Surround yourself with people who believe in you, who challenge you, who push you to be better, and in turn become that person for others. When you create a positive environment for yourself, when you surround yourself with people who support you, encourage you, and challenge you, you'll find that your own growth becomes easier. You'll start seeing results in your life, and you'll start feeling more confident, more motivated, and more aligned with your goals. So take a moment right now to evaluate the people in your life. Are they helping you grow? Are they inspiring you to be better? If not, it might be time to make some changes. You have the power to create the environment you need to become the best version of yourself. It's time to surround yourself with positivity, and the rest will follow. Number 9, strive for integrity and honesty. There's something powerful about living a life that's rooted in honesty, integrity, and doing what's right, especially when nobody is watching. It's not always the easiest thing to do, but when you make integrity a cornerstone of your life, something amazing happens. You begin to feel more aligned with who you truly are. You begin to live with a sense of purpose and confidence that can't be shaken by the opinions of others or the difficulties that life throws your way. Integrity isn't just about telling the truth. It's about showing up as the best version of yourself in every area of your life, in every interaction, in every choice you make. The truth is, we live in a world where it's easy to get distracted by short-term gains, by the temptation to cut corners, or by the pressure to impress others. The world can pull you in 1,000 directions, each promising you success, happiness, or satisfaction if you just compromise a little, just take the easy way out. But here's the thing, those short-term gains never bring true fulfillment. They never bring lasting happiness. What they bring is a hollow victory, a temporary sense of relief that fades as quickly as it came. But when you act with integrity, When you make decisions based on your core values, you're creating something far more valuable than anything the world can offer you. You're building a life that's rooted in trust, respect, and authenticity. Living with integrity means that your actions are in alignment with your values, whether someone is looking or not. It means being honest in every area of your life, even when it's uncomfortable or inconvenient. It means keeping your promises, following through on your commitments, and doing what you say you're going to do. Integrity is about showing up for yourself, showing up for others, and showing up for what you believe in. It's about being a person who can be trusted, a person whose word means something, a person who consistently does the right thing no matter the circumstances. When you choose to live with integrity, you build a sense of self-respect that is unshakable. Think about it for a moment. When you act in a way that goes against your values, or when you know you've done something dishonest, how does it make you feel? It eats away at you, doesn't it? It creates an inner conflict that doesn't go away until you make things right. But when you live in alignment with your values, when you do the right thing even when it's difficult, you feel at peace with yourself. You feel confident in your decisions, and that confidence radiates outward. You walk into rooms with your head held high, because you know that your actions reflect who you are as a person. You know that you've been true to yourself, and that's something that no one can take away from you. It's not always easy to live with integrity, especially in a world where shortcuts, dishonesty, and manipulation sometimes seem like the path of least resistance. But when you choose to be honest, to act with integrity, you gain something far more valuable than any temporary gain or recognition. You gain the trust of others. Trust is the foundation of any relationship, whether it's personal or professional. When you're known as someone who acts with integrity, people will trust you. They will respect you. They will know that your word is your bond, and that means everything. Trust is a rare commodity in today's world, and when you build it by living authentically, you open doors for yourself that wouldn't be accessible otherwise. People want to work with, partner with, and be around people they trust. And when you build a reputation for integrity, opportunities start to come your way. But beyond the external rewards, living with integrity brings internal peace. It allows you to be at ease with your decisions, knowing that you've done the right thing, even when it was hard. It builds your self-esteem and helps you feel good about who you are, no matter what others think. The world may judge you for making the right choice, but deep down you'll know that you did what was right. You'll have a sense of pride that doesn't rely on external validation. Your self-worth will come from within, and that's something no one can take from you. Now let's talk about how integrity can positively impact your life on a practical level. When you live with integrity, you become more dependable. People start to know that they can count on you. And that's huge, because dependability is a quality that's in high demand. Whether it's in your job, your relationships, or your community, people need to know they can rely on you. And when you consistently act with integrity, you build that reliability. It becomes part of who you are. And it makes you someone that people want to be around, work with, and trust. But beyond dependability, integrity also allows you to build a deeper connection with the people around you. It's easy to think that success comes from being flashy or impressing people with your achievements. But the truth is that the most meaningful connections are built on trust. People want to connect with those who are genuine, who are honest, and who can be counted on. When you live authentically, when you live with integrity, you attract people who value those same qualities. You begin to form relationships that are based on mutual respect, honesty, and understanding. Living with integrity also helps you avoid the stress and anxiety that come with dishonesty. When you live a life based on lies or half-truths, you're constantly trying to keep track of everything you've said or done. You're worried about getting caught or exposed, and that stress takes a toll on you, on your mental health, on your relationships, and on your overall well-being. But when you're honest and straightforward, you don't have to worry about keeping up appearances or hiding the truth. You can relax knowing that you've done the right thing. And that brings a sense of peace and freedom that is priceless. I want to challenge you to take a good look at your life and ask yourself, are you living with integrity? Are your actions in alignment with your values? Are you staying true to who you are, even when it's hard? Living with integrity isn't always the easiest path, but it's the most rewarding. It's the path that leads to lasting success, to genuine connections, to inner peace, and to the respect of others. And above all, it's the path that allows you to become the best version of yourself. You see, becoming the best version of yourself isn't about impressing others or chasing after external validation. It's about showing up every day as the person you know you are deep down. It's about being honest with yourself and others, about doing what's right, even when nobody is watching. And when you make integrity a cornerstone of your life, everything else falls into place. You build trust, you build respect, and you build a life that you can be proud of. So I want to leave you with this: choose integrity, choose honesty, choose to be true to yourself and to the values that matter most to you. And when you do, you'll begin to see how much more fulfilling life can be. You'll begin to see how much more confident you become, how much more at peace you feel, and how much more successful you can be. Integrity is the foundation of everything that truly matters. Build your life on it, and you'll see the results in ways that will surprise you. Live with integrity, and you'll become the best version of yourself, one decision at a time. Number 10, start today. Starting today, not tomorrow, not next week, not when the time is perfect. The truth is, the perfect time is always now. And when you make the decision to take action today, that's when you truly begin to transform your life. I've seen it time and time again. People who have great intentions, big dreams, and grand plans for the future. But those dreams, those plans, they often get delayed. You know why? Because they're waiting for the right time. They think that they need a certain amount of money, a certain amount of experience, or a certain amount of luck to take the first step. But here's the truth. There's never going to be a perfect moment. The perfect moment is the one you create for yourself by starting now. Every great journey begins with the first step, no matter how small. And that first step, that act of starting today, holds incredible power. It's easy to get caught up in the idea of someday. It's easy to dream about what could be, to think about all the things you'll do in the future. But here's the reality. Tomorrow doesn't exist. All we have is today. If you wait for the perfect conditions, you'll wait forever. And the more you wait, the more opportunities slip by. Time keeps moving. And while you're sitting there thinking about how you'll start one day, other people are out there taking action. Let me tell you something. Starting today doesn't require you to have everything figured out. It doesn't require you to have all the answers or know exactly how things will turn out. It just requires you to make the decision to move forward, even if it's just one small step. Maybe that step is committing to your health and taking the first action towards a healthier lifestyle. Maybe it's picking up that book you've been meaning to read, or reaching out to someone you admire for advice. Maybe it's getting that business idea off the ground. Even if you don't know everything you need to know yet, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you begin, because once you begin, you start building momentum. And momentum is powerful. When you start today, you stop being a spectator in your own life. You stop waiting for things to magically fall into place. You become an active participant in creating your future. You take responsibility for your own success. It's a shift in mindset, from I'll do it when the time is right to I'm going to do it now and figure it out as I go. It's about recognizing that the journey is just as important as the destination. And sometimes the best way to learn is by simply taking action. Now, I know there are people out there who feel stuck, who feel like they don't have the resources or the support to start today. Maybe you feel overwhelmed by everything that needs to be done, or by the obstacles in your path. I get it. I've been there myself. But I want to remind you of something: you don't need to have everything figured out to begin. The key is to start with what you have, where you are. Don't wait for the perfect conditions. Don't wait for the right moment. The right moment is now. Think about it. How many times have you said to yourself, I'll start tomorrow? How many times have you put things off, telling yourself that you need just a little more time or a little more preparation? The truth is that time will never come unless you make it come. Life doesn't wait for you to feel ready. Life moves forward with or without you. But when you choose to start today, you're taking control. You're choosing to be proactive rather than reactive. You're choosing to make progress instead of staying stuck. And that's where the real magic happens. Starting today means that you're giving yourself permission to take action. You're giving yourself the freedom to fail, to learn, and to grow. Because let me tell you something. It's okay to fail. In fact, it's more than okay, it's a necessary part of the process. Failure isn't the end, it's the beginning of something new. It's a chance to learn, to adjust, to pivot, and to keep moving forward. When you start today, you're not committing to a perfect path. You're committing to the journey. You're committing to the process of growth. And that process doesn't happen if you keep waiting for tomorrow. I've heard people say, I'll start when I'm ready. But here's the reality: you'll never feel 100% ready. You'll never have all the answers. And if you wait for that moment of complete readiness, you'll be waiting forever. The truth is, you'll learn as you go. You'll learn through experience. And that's where true growth happens. When you step into the unknown, when you take that first step into something that feels uncertain, you grow, you stretch, you expand. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you become with the discomfort. The more you realize that you don't need to have all the answers. You just need to have the courage to start. When you make the decision to start today, you also start building confidence. Because the more action you take, the more you prove to yourself that you can do it. The more you prove to yourself that you're capable of moving forward. No matter how challenging things may seem, each small step you take builds your self-belief. It tells you that you're strong enough to overcome obstacles. It tells you that you have the ability to push through the fear, the doubt, and the uncertainty. And the more you push through, the more you realize that you have everything you need within you to succeed. But here's another powerful thing about starting today. It helps you stay focused on the present. When you focus on the future, on what might happen, on what could go wrong, you can get lost in fear and uncertainty. But when you focus on today, on what you can do right now, you remove that pressure. You take the focus off of all the things you can't control and put it onto the things you can. You take action on what's in your hands, and you let go of the rest. You stop worrying about the future and start living in the present. Starting today doesn't mean you have to have everything figured out. It just means you have to start. Take that first step. No matter how small, commit to something today that will move you forward. Make the decision to be proactive instead of reactive. And most importantly, trust yourself. Trust that you have everything you need inside of you to take the next step. Even if you don't know exactly where it will lead, I challenge you to think about what's been holding you back. What's the one thing you've been putting off? What's the one dream or goal you've been waiting to pursue? I want you to ask yourself, what if today was the day that you took the first step? What if today was the day you decided to stop waiting for the right time and just started? What could your life look like if you stopped putting things off and made today the day that changed everything? You have the power to create your future, and that future begins today. You don't need to wait for anything else. You don't need to have everything perfect. All you need is the willingness to take that first step. So I want you to make a commitment right now. Commit to starting today. Take action, no matter how small, because today is the day that everything can begin. Today is the day you can start building the life you've always dreamed of. And remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. It's not about waiting for the perfect conditions. It's about making today the day that you begin. So go ahead, start today. Your future self will thank you.